Brazilian! Welcome to my art channel. In this video I'll show you how to draw an easy step-by-step picture of an eye with a teardrop. Enjoy! So using a pencil, draw the basic outline of your eye. It's easiest if you use a reference photo. And I'm making a rather large eye to show the many details that are part of it. Here we see the line just above the eye, that is where the eyelid, the crease of the eyelid, and underneath the lower lid there's another crease, and above that is the eyebrow. Starting from the center, the very center, which is we'll do fully black, and we'll make sure to leave the spaces that we want for the highlights. We'll make an indication of a circle so that we know exactly what to leave pure white. We do not want to get any color in there. And the rest of it we'll layer with black. One layer after the next will help it get a darker black color. Now the eye that I'm going to color today has both brown and green colors. So the very center is more brownish, and working outwards will be more green, and the very edge is brown again. So at the center we will do dark brown colors, and we'll already start layering it with some green, because it's not just pure brown, it has some greenish in there, but the dominant color is brown. So we'll just keep drawing lines starting from about the edge next to the black, leaving a small space. Start a little bit around that, and almost like rays of the sun, go around in a circle, drawing lines one on top of the other, next to the other, in brown and green colors. If you're able to get a very good view of your photo, you can see which exact shades of brown and green you have, or if it's a different color that you have, and try to get as close as you can, but use a mixture of different colors to get that effect. It's usually not just one color. You will have a combination of different colors, different hues, in whatever brown, green, blue, whatever it is. So here the dominant color around that brown center is green, so I started off with more green, and I'm layering it with some brown because it's not just pure green, it has brown parts here and there. And coming around the very edge of the iris is a brown edge. So that will be more dominantly brown. And if you look closely at an eye, there are many different interesting things going on, so you can make small indications, little squiggles here and there, whatever interesting shapes you notice. Learning how to draw is really learning how to see, how to look, and see all the interesting things that you can notice. And using some brownish color, sepia I used, we'll outline the edge of the eye, and we'll darken the crease. And this is the color we'll be using for a lot of the shading and shadows, this dark sepia. The skin color of the reference photo that I had for this eye was a so-called white person. If you look closely at white skin, you'll notice it is not white at all. It has very many colors there. I used some magenta and pink to show the purplish hue around the eye and the eyeball itself. Around the eye, there's a lot of pink going on, purple, bluish tinges. There's all kinds of color underneath white skin. So if you look very closely at the photo around the eye that you are looking at, you will see many different colors, and make sure to use them because that will make your eye look more realistic. And we're working here in layers, so we put down one layer, we blend it with the white pencil, and then we put down more layers, and that will give it a more homogeneous look to the skin, more blended look. The corner of the eye, we use different shades of pink, darker pink for the more shadowed areas, and lighter pinks for the areas that are less in the shadow. Working around the eye, we fill in different parts. There is some yellowish in the skin. And when we're putting in these skin tones, the parts that are smoother, we'll just use hatching. That means one line next to the other. And there are some parts of the skin that are bumpier, so we'll use cross hatching, which means lines that are crossed over this way and that way, and that will show the more mottled kind of skin that is over there. Using a very light pink, we'll add in some veins and blood vessels on the eye, and taking our darker colors, we'll add in shading where necessary. The top of the iris is shaded by the eyelid, so that needs to be darker. And those creases above and below that show the eyelid are also darker. And we'll continue to blend with our white pencil. That's what white pencils are good for, blending colors together. We'll keep blending with our white pencil after each layer to keep everything smooth. And to set it back into the picture, so it shouldn't stand out too much. I also use the blending stump to do some smoothing throughout. And I continue going over the black with more layers of black to keep getting darker and darker and brighter. The trick with colored pencils is to keep layering. That will bring your colors much more vibrancy and make it look much more realistic. Just be sure not to cover over whatever highlighted areas. Always to indicate them first before starting to add any color. It's much easier to add color than to take it away. Just keep those areas bright and uncolored if you want them to be a highlight. Here I did more shading above the eyelid and below it, showing those creases and the shadows of the eyelashes on the upper lid. Now starting with the actual eyelashes, I used black, and there are less towards the corners of the eyes, and the ones that are close to the ends are shorter. The ones in the center are longer and facing straight down. The ones on the sides are more horizontal. And they are not perfect. They are this way, that way, overlapping, stuck together. The more wild you make them, in general, they look more realistic. Unless somebody has their eyelashes stuck with mascara, in general, they're not straight and neat. And they start from where they're stuck to the lid and sort of go up in a sort of, not exactly like a J, but that kind of idea. And here I already started on the eyebrow. Was not able to fit much on this page, but whatever of the eyebrow is visible is also sharp, dark lines, one next to the other, facing different directions, whichever way they are facing in my photo. And besides for the black color, I also added a little bit of brown to give it more fullness. And here at the corner of the eye is the teardrop. I lightened some of the skin to give it a little bit of highlight. And the basic way of making a teardrop is to put shadows around it and highlights on it. Because it's not actually something that has color, it's just see-through. Now I continued adding more body to the eyelashes, shorter ones interspersed among longer ones, and some more shadowing of the eyelid. Now as I darken around the skin of the lower lid, I left the teardrop without extra color to make it lighter than the rest of the area so that it looks shinier.